Hey, good morning, guys. This is Hank. It is August the 4th, I believe, 0004. And I just woke up from this really sort of long dream. And I'll just go ahead and just explain the dream. In the dream, I was with some friends. Somehow, these friends, I sort of amassed, sort of like, interesting enough, the friends that were in there was a young lady, actually several people that I grew up with. Letitia Wells, Yolanda Conley, George Lewis. These are all my friends from the east side of Akron. They're all black too. And who else was there? Not that it matters. Not that you know who those people is, or you'll never know who they are. Well, maybe never. Who knows? But you know how things go. And so, as we were all there were quite a few more. And I noticed we were all laying around, like literally laying around. Wherever the space was, we were laying down. And I remember at one point, George, he's like, "Hey, you getting on my nerves." It's because of things I was saying to him. But what was really interesting is the last time George showed up in a dream of mine is when I told you my family, we were going on a cruise, and then we saw these UFOs, and then the ship started blowing up, and I saw a plane come off the ground, out the air. Now that cruise has already happened. It happened in July of this year, last month. I didn't go. I decided not to go at the last minute. And it was so that I saw George, and George is at the very end. I told you in that dream that he started arguing with people, and he was swatting them down because he's a big guy. Well, let me just tell you just what was happening in the dream. I guess I was questioning my YouTube channel. I was questioning because the channel just started growing really big, and a lot of people were have been subscribing, and it was just getting really huge. And I remember I asked one of my friends, I was like, you guys, you're all here with me. Somehow they were contributing or something. I was like, do you think I'm crazy? That's the question that I put to them. I said, do you think I'm crazy? I said, why do you help me? And why, just why, you know what I'm saying? And I just really wanted I wanted the answers. And I remember at one point I told George, I said, George, I'm not going to ask you this because you sort of just came on board or whatever. But I really wanted to know the truth on why everyone just believed what was being said, or what the whole thing. And then even in my mind, as I was even asking the question, I was thinking, well, Hank, you started having those dreams when you were younger that you were being abducted. And I remember even one time I went to a psychiatrist, and I told to get a regression, because I knew that they did this particular psychiatrist did, a PhD, did hypnosis. And I was like, okay, well, there you go. I remember reading a lot of books on people who had been abducted. I still have the books. I'm trying to recall their name. I just woke up, you guys. It's 6 something in the morning. And so what is his name? Okay, I'll think of his name in a second. So about the gentleman who wrote the book, actually several books or whatever. And I can even see the guy in my mind's eye, but I just can't think of it to save my soul right now, but that's okay. So I just remember that happening to me. And I remember when she actually did the hypnosis on me. It was a female physician. I was in Houston, Texas, and I was on 12 and a half Street, and I was in my waterbed, and that's where she took me, because that was the initial scene that I had in my head. And at that particular time, it was like every other day I was dreaming that they were abducting me and doing things or whatever. And I was still in the military at that time. I was on reserve status at that point. And there was a small entity coming. It was in my room, and like it was laying there, and I had like sleep paralysis, but my eyes were open. And this thing was moving around my body. And I mean, I was sort of freaking out because I couldn't move, and it was moving really, really fast. And then at one point, this blue light came through the window or whatever, and it just turned and went right through the window, and it was gone. Now, that's what I actually remember from the experience myself. I called it a dream. And then I remember itching my stuff to pinch my face to wake myself up or whatever. And I remember like going through the entire house, looking everywhere, in every closet in the house, just trying to see if that thing was still in there. And it was so strange because I was so brave. I was looking everywhere, like somehow it was just going to be in there in the corner, like hiding or something. I don't know. Now, when I actually did the hypnosis, when I was induced in the hypnosis with the PhD, there was one of my students from my dance school at the time. That's the only reason why I could even afford to pay for it. I had opened up a school in Ohio, and I had a lot of students, a dance school. And one of my students was actually there, Jameson. And what was really, really interesting about that is after I went back, I was just back to teaching classes or what have you. And I was in Ohio at the time, but I was dreaming about being here in Texas in my first apartment here in the Heights. And so Jameson came up to me afterwards, just like, "Mr. Jones, I want to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay." And then he says, "Well, I know this is going to sound crazy." He said, "But I had a dream that I was abducted last night and you were there." I mean, you guys, this is right after I went to go see this psychiatrist to go see why I was having these dreams about being abducted, because I was like, what's going on? Am I going crazy or something? And then here comes a student who comes up and tells me that they had a dream, and they said they remember they were at the foot of the bed, and they said I was just standing there just watching the whole thing. And I was like, whoa. And you guys, this was literally 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. And I was like, wow. I just thought it was really amazing. The whole thing just sort of freaked me out in a way, and from that point, Jameson and I became fast friends, and we were discussing every experience and everything, because it was happening to me while I was there in Ohio, and he said it was happening to him at the same time. And I remember us just discussing everything. And I was also teaching at the University of Akron, and he had enrolled. Not only was he taking private classes or taking classes with me at my school, he was also taking classes at the university as well. And so that's how it all started, you guys. That's how this whole thing started. And then, I just continued with my career. I kept teaching. I kept doing all the other things that I did. And even way back then, I was really interested in hypnosis. And I remember reading a bunch of books, and for fun, I would induce my friends and they'd come out and go, "Oh my God, that was magic! How did you do that? That was some voodoo shit," they'd say, or whatever. And I just remember afterwards they would still emotionally be tied to whatever they saw. I remember my one friend. I may have said this before. He had okay, you can start to see me now. It's so early in the morning. He had a wife with a really huge breast, and I remember afterwards I said, "Man, your wife had big boobs," and he hit me. And he said, "Don't be talking about my wife's boobs." I'm like, "Dude, you're gay. What are you talking about?" And I said, "That was your past life." And we just laughed or whatever. But he was so serious and in the moment or whatever. And so basically, this is all this stuff was flashing through my head literally while I was sitting there in this dream that I was having. This is what this whole video is about, because I like to post my dreams, especially when they have to do with extraterrestrials and this whole process that I'm going through with, and this YouTube channel that I have that's starting to just take off and grow so quickly with the information that's coming through. And so, and I don't know. Well, you could probably just figure out, well, Hank, your channel's growing. There's lots of people that are interested in it. And, and I want to be authentic. I don't want to mislead anyone, Now, one of the other things like I said, that was what started the whole thing. And then, I've been doing, like I said, the hypnosis for years and years and years. I just really put the question to each person, but I put it to the one person at first. And I never really actually even got an answer, because one thing was asked and then a bunch of people started talking. You know how that goes. And then someone says something and someone says something, so it sort of almost goes away from it, but they're still talking about it, but they're not addressing me as to why I really wanted to call them together, because I guess I was the leader of this group, and because it was dealing to what we were working with, you know what I'm saying? And because I wanted to, and I started equating those friends of mine that were there, to my subscribers. And I'm thinking, man, I have all these people really listening and paying attention to these QHHT sessions. And you guys, already know I always say, or if you read, I know a lot of people don't read anything and they listen to whatever they want to hear. And even if I say something, they somehow hear it differently. And I know that to be fact, because when I said I'm not going to post QHHT anymore, everyone automatically just heard that I wasn't going to post the videos anymore. And I was like, did they really listen? And I actually talked to a few of them, my subscribers that I actually communicate with all the time, saying, you guys, I'm going to keep posting. I'm just not going to post those. I'm only going to post the guided visualizations. That's it. And so you're like, oh, okay. Because then I posted the one about the, what is that about? The session that Lars and I did, and they were talking about the history of the planet. That was with the going back in time and to fifth dimensional Earth when it was Terra, or Tetra as they called it. And then to when they were in Egypt and the extraterrestrials came and started having them build the pyramids and doing all these other things or what have you. So anyway, like I said, I was equating the people there to the subscribers, and then because even now I just started thinking, I was like, well, what about the orbs, Hank? Those orbs, I mean, I've seen a lot of orbs in people's videos, but the orbs in my videos, man, they come flying in. They're flying around me. I mean, they look like a bug that's actually flying and moving. And you know what I'm saying? It's just not, I mean, a few of them fly by, a bunch of them fly by really fast, but then there are others that come in and really look like they're going somewhere. They go across and then they come back, and you can see it's the exact same one. And then you have the one that looks like the fire, that living fire. And then all of a sudden in Lars's video, you're seeing all of the ones that look like electric, these lights. And then, of course, in the sessions, I'm asking about them, and they're saying what they are, their support for Lars to raise his vibration, to keep the communication stable, to let everyone know that we are actually valid. Some like a affirmation, like, hey, what this guy's doing and his questions and things they're asking are valid, or what have you, And then there's this thing of me writing all these poems or these rhymes. I don't know what you consider them, poems or rhymes. These things pop in my head and I just write down whatever it is. And, I know, I've had the ringing in the ear and, and I'm getting in the sessions that I'm getting all this information. At one point, it's all going to click on. And so I really have a hardcore belief about the nature of reality. And of course, I can tell you right now, my foundation was way back when, because when I started having those abduction experiences, I met this director in from Cleveland in Ohio, and I was 19 or I was 24, one of the two. I was young, and he gave me the book Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. Man, that book, I absorbed that book like it was Dr. Seuss. I mean, I absorbed it, and then I read all of Jane Roberts' books, every last one of them. I mean, that's where the foundation of my belief system is from, because that's where I wrote that song. We are multidimensional personalities, temporarily focused on physicality, holographic fields of energy. What drives our being is creativity. That, like I told you the other day, was my first one that I ever wrote, but it was literally inspired by that particular material that I read. And it's like all of these things have been building me to where I am today. And now, okay, I will for sure. And then now here I am. Well, 30 years later, 32 years later, and 32 years I've been teaching, but 30 years later, and I have this YouTube channel, and I have all these people who are listening to the poems. They're looking at this weird phenomena. The other day, I was like a couple weeks or however long that was, I did Alexia, and all of a sudden there's this array of sparkly lights that just show up in the video at one point. And Jenny Spooner pointed it out. She says, "Hey, did you see those?" And I went back and looked. I was like, "Whoa!" And then someone else said, "That looks like paranormal phenomena." I said, "Yeah, that was pretty wild, And so, you guys, what I'm trying to say, and I guess I'm trying to interpret this dream. I don't never really try to interpret. I pretty much just tell the dream. But the dream is pretty much sort of interpreting it itself for me and giving all these people who are connecting with everything that I'm saying and all the information that I'm gathering from the QHH and the guided visualizations. Lars and I do guided visualization. We haven't done QHHT for a long time. He thinks the process is too long. And anyway, so I guess the dream was asking myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I misleading anyone? Am I, now I can say one thing. Well, there's no way I can fake those orbs and the electrical beings or the light entities or any of that stuff. That stands on its own. What it is what it is. So, and as far as my experiences, feeling like I've been abducted or seeing them in my home, or the orbs, the one that floats over my bed at night, big one, it's big, it's blue, it's big and it's blue. You can say, well, Hank, you're almost falling asleep and you're hallucinating that or what have you. The QHHT sessions, I always tell everyone, as far as for my channel, I tell everyone, don't believe anything that you hear that I say in my poems or in my rhymes or anything that you hear in the QHHT sessions as well. I said, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I can't be responsible for misleading people and thinking that, these are my inspirations, my thoughts, my beliefs. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't think that I'm crazy or anything, because the last time I went to school, I graduated summa cum laude. So, maybe I can be smart and crazy or something. I don't know. But, I have a lot of love in my heart and my intentions are pure, I personally, I believe we're going through a shift, that we're shifting vibrationally to a higher dimension. And of course, that's what everyone in this community who listens to these things or who are interested in the type of material that's on my channel, that's what they're interested in. And so, this is what's coming out of me right now. So this is what's been inspiring me, and this is what I post. And so, I guess because it's getting large pretty quickly, and I'm getting ready to do an interview with Michelle Whaling from ND5, and I know they have 125,000 followers or whatever, and we'll probably have this conversation in that interview. I'm just trying, I guess, I'm telling you about the dream, and I'm trying to be responsible or what have you. So what am I saying? I'm saying that I've had a lot of different things that have happened to me, and they have shaped me to who I am today, which is why I do what I'm doing in terms of these QHHT sessions, in terms of the poems, in terms of all the phenomena that goes on around me that I catch on film, and then I present that as well. And then there's even videos that tell who I am. I think I'm very transparent. You can go to Hank's history and see everything about me. From my awards from since I was a little kid, pictures of me dancing, being in all those shows and everything. It's just all there. I don't really have anything to hide. And I really don't have anything to hide. I'm not a criminal or anything like that. So this dream, I don't know. The dream, how dreams are long. And there was a lot said, and I can't remember every word like I normally remember every word of the dream. But I just remember we were all sitting there I was asking people, why do they pay? Why are they supporting me? The question was, do they think I'm crazy? And maybe that's what I'm asking myself. Man, are you crazy for saying what you're saying and doing what you're doing and putting all this stuff out there like that? And I'm like, well, no, not really, because I work for myself and my clients haven't stopped showing up or what have you. And so anyway, guys, that was the dream that I had. I'm trying to think right now, is there anything that I sort of missed out on? But I can say categorically, I state right now, I have no desire to mislead anyone in any way, shape, or form. And, as you can tell, I haven't monetized my channel. I haven't asked anyone to like, comment, or subscribe. And even when someone negative comes around and says something, because I just don't want it on my channel, I block it and delete it. And so, you guys, if you're paying attention, especially since there's so many people that seem to be paying attention or what have you, discern everything. Discern everything. Discern in your heart. Feel it out. Does it sound crazy? Does it not make sense? Listen to one and then listen to another as far as the sessions are concerned. Does anything contradict? I want you to really be mature, responsible adults when you come onto my channel. I have no desire for anyone feeling like they've been bamboozled or misled or manipulated or anything to that effect in any way, shape, or form. That is not my desire. It is not my intent. And so if that's what dreams are for, to help me to make sure that I'm being as responsible as I possibly can, here is my not attempt, but this is my intent with this video to state, what my intentions are. My intentions are to, in my eyes, to expose people to who they really are, or who they potentially are, and it's so much more than what we're told by mainstream. And so There you have it. You are so much more. And I would explore your mind, explore inside, not outside of everything that's going on around you. Look into your heart, meditate, sit in silence, ask yourself questions, ask yourself questions before you go to bed, when you dream, and wake up and write it down in the morning. I've done these things. I have years and years of dream journals. I've been doing that type of work for myself. No one knew about it. I thought one day I'd start reading my dreams onto a play and making a playlist of them, but I said, let me just put my new ones on it, because some of my last ones, oh my God, you can't even start to hear none of those. So it's like, shh. Anyway, all right, guys, I love you, and thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. Oh, look, see, it's gotten light. You can see me. What is this? 25, 20, 48, 25. I've been yabbing for that long. All right, so let's see. Here's Gund. Let's say hi, Gund. Good morning. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. Love and light. Namaste.